Welcome back to Virtual English class. I hope you are healthy and safe and taking good care of yourself. Today we're going to be working on Act 3, Scene 2. This is Caesar's funeral. So this is not quite your average funeral. Even though you do have a body, you've got mourners, you've got friends giving speeches, this is going to be attended by the majority of Rome, and it's going to end in a riot. So, your learning target. You will analyze the effects of rhetorical devices and appeals in the funeral orations. Your success criteria is that you will be able to identify rhetorical devices and appeals in Brutus and Antony's speeches and analyze how these help convey the speaker's messages. For today's lesson, you'll need a few things. You'll obviously need your copy of Caesar. I also recommend pulling out your notes from last time on rhetorical devices and appeals. It will be very, very helpful to you if you can just look at those as we go along. Next, you will need to open your Teams account and find the most recent assignment. Let's start with your do now. For your do now, I'd like you to tell me about ambition. We've been talking about it for a while. Brutus says that Caesar is ambitious, and that's why Caesar needed to die. But what does it mean to be ambitious, and how do you know if someone is really ambitious? Likewise, ambition isn't a bad thing, right? Like, everyone has to have ambition, or they're just going to sit there twiddling their thumbs. So what's the difference between good ambition and bad ambition? Tell me that in the do now. FYI, I am having some eye troubles, so if I am a little bit flakier in responding to emails, I'm sorry. That's why reading is difficult right now. Likewise, during the speaking portion or the reading portion of this video, I'm going to be leaning out of frame constantly because that's where my light is. Sorry. We'll work through this. I will keep answering your emails, of course, but just bear with me if there are some weirder than usual typos. Now, speaking of the reading portion, because we have a fairly large cast and I have the one of me, I have pulled in some special guests. I don't really think they need much introduction. But anyways, to introduce, my husband, Mr. Leong, and all of my cats are going to be showing up. Meet my family. So, my special guest, I have Mr. Leong, and in the background you might hear Shadow meowing. He will not be reading. However, Mr. Leong is going to be covering all of the plebeians by himself. We shall see about this.
All my split personalities and myself.
You're on the internet, dear. Okay. So I'm going to be covering Brutus and Antony. Remember that you are jumping back and forth between this and Teams. I'm not sure, since we kind of fill the whole screen, how this is going to work for splicing in a script. So bear with me on this. So, Scene 2, the Forum. Enter Brutus and goes to the pulpit, and Cassius with the plebeians.
We will be satisfied. Let us be satisfied.
Then follow me and give me audience, friends. Cassius, go you into the other street and part the numbers. Translation, Cassius, I'll handle this crew here. You go a couple blocks over. This isn't necessarily the brightest move for Brutus. He's sending Cassius away, and Cassius is kind of the brains of the operation. So now, that's another problem. Brutus isn't going to be by himself, is he? Who's going to be with Brutus? Antony. And we are not going to have Cassius there to follow up. So, this might not be Brutus's smartest move. However, it's still not the climax. We passed that already. Those that will hear me speak, let them stay here. Those that will follow Cassius, go with him. And public reasons shall be rendered of Caesar's death. So I'll explain here, Cassius will explain on the other side of town, and you'll get your answers.
I will hear Brutus speak. I will hear Cassius. and compare the reasons, and with several other, we will hear them rendered. The noble Brutus has ascended. Silence.
I don't let the kids do ridiculous accents. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
You're in for a treat, folks.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, so exit Cassius with a whole swarm of plebeians. Brutus, be patient until the last. Romans, countrymen, and lovers, so friends, hear me for my cause, and be silent that you may hear. So, hey guys, listen up. Believe me for mine honor, and have respect to mine honor, that you may believe. Censure me in your wisdom, and awake your senses that you may be better judge. So again, hush, listen, and listen with your mind, not with your heart. Don't let this be about emotion. If there be any in this assembly, any dear friend of Caesar's, to him I say that Brutus's love to Caesar was no less than his. If these friends demand why Brutus rose against Caesar, then this is my answer. Not that I loved Caesar less, but that I loved Rome more. So you might want to put a star by that, because that's Brutus in a nutshell. He says right there, if you're a friend of Caesar's and you're thinking to yourself, why did Brutus stab this guy? It's not that I didn't like Caesar. In fact, I really liked him. I liked him as much as all of you. I just loved Rome more than I liked Caesar. Had you rather Caesar were living and die all slaves, than that Caesar were dead and to live all free men? Rhetorical question. Who is going to be like, yes, I would rather be enslaved and have Caesar still alive? No one. That's something that everyone should know. As Caesar loved me, I weep for him. As he was fortunate, so as he did well for himself, I rejoice at it. As he was valiant, so an amazing general, I honor him. But, as he was ambitious, I slew him. There's tears for his love, joy for his fortune, honor for his valor, and death for his ambition. Okay, so here, he's anticipating all the stuff that people who liked Caesar are going to say about him. He was a great general. I know. I'm so proud of him. He was a good guy. I know. I loved him too. And why'd you kill him? He was ambitious and dangerous. I loved Caesar, but I loved Rome more. Who here is so base, so like low, so classless? Who here is so base that he would be a bondsman? If any speak, for him have I offended. Who is here so rude that they would not be a Roman? If any speak, for him have I offended. Who here is so vile, so awful, that will not love his country? If any speak, for him have I offended. I pause for a reply.
None, Brutus. None.
Exactly, because that is actually a fairly good series of rhetorical questions. So hats off to Brutus. For once, he nails it. Hey, does anyone actually want to be a slave? And everyone's like, no. You guys are all good Romans, right? Yeah. So he's saying, if you're a good Roman, if you actually wanted to be free, then we're on the same page. All good. Then none have I offended. I have done no more, flipping the page, to Caesar than you shall do to Brutus. The question of his death is enrolled of the Capitol, his glory not extenuated, wherein he was worthy, nor his offenses enforced, for which he suffered death. So basically, I'm not taking away from his glory while he was alive. Caesar was an amazing guy. I liked him. He was my friend. However, he was ambitious. We'll figure it out from here. Enter Mark Antony with Caesar's body. Here comes his body, mourned by Mark Antony, who, though he had no hand in his death, shall receive the benefit of his dying, a place in the commonwealth, as which of you shall not? With this I depart, that I slew my best lover for the good of Rome. I have the same dagger for myself, when it shall please my country to need my death. Alright, so, that's a fairly dramatic exit. So Brutus, like, whips out his dagger, and he's like, I stabbed Caesar with this. Not on screen. I stabbed Caesar with this. Behold the dagger. If my country decides I did wrong, I'll just kill myself. Like, I will accept the punishment if I did wrong here. What do you think, plebeians?
Live, Brutus, live, live! Bring him with triumph home unto his house. Give him a statue with his ancestors.
Seriously.
Let him be Caesar. Caesar's better part shall be crowned in Brutus. We will bring him to his house with shouts and clamors.
I can't. Okay, so, let's look at the plebeians again. 2 pages ago, they were all on Team Caesar, and now all of a sudden, they want Brutus to be Caesar. First of all, Brutus would never, because, Rome doesn't need tyrants. But what is it that swayed them so much? Consider. That's going to be one of your questions. Oh, by the way, when I was reading Brutus, I know you can't see this, but I'm holding it up for effect. When I was reading Brutus, did you notice something about the text? Flip back and look at the text, then flip forward and look at Antony's text. One of the things that might have affected the plebeians is something that you all can relate to. Why is it that you guys hate Shakespeare so much? Exactly. Hold that thought. Okay, did we get... Oh, yeah, my countrymen.
Peace! Silence! Brutus speaks! Peace, ho!
Thank you. Good countrymen, let me depart alone, and for my sake, stay here with Antony. Oh, why is he like this? Okay, so the plebeians are all ready to bail on Antony's speech. They're ready to march home with Brutus, cheering for him, because they love him so much, all of a sudden, they're totally over the fact that they just saw him stab their buddy in the Senate. And instead, Brutus says, no, guys. Stay here. Listen to Antony after I leave. Wait a minute, he's leaving? He's just gonna leave and let Antony talk to everyone? Does that seem stupid to anyone else?
I don't know. I'm a plebeian.
Well played. Here's the thing. Why is it that Brutus doesn't see this as stupid? You might want to refer back. You put a star by this. Look back when he's talking with the conspirators. Why is it that Brutus is completely confident that Mark Antony will keep his word? So, I'm actually going to read that again for you guys. Good countrymen, let me depart alone, and for my sake stay here with Antony. Do grace to Caesar's corpse, and grace his speech. So mourn Caesar. It's right. It's the thing you should do. Stick around. Listen to Antony. Be respectful. Tending in Caesar's glories, with Mark Antony by our permission is allowed to make. I do entreat you, not a man depart, save I alone until Antony has spoken. So he's really just ensuring that everyone hears Antony. We know this is dumb. Consider why he doesn't. All right, plebeians, you're up.
Stay, ho, and let us hear Mark Antony. Let him go up into the public chair. We will hear him, noble Antony. Go up. Antony.
Yes, I did. For Brutus' sake, I am beholden to you.
What doth he say, Brutus? He says, for Brutus' sake, he finds himself beholding to us. To best he speak no harm of Brutus here. This Caesar was a tyrant. Nay, that is certain. We are blessed that Rome is rid of him. Peace! Let us hear what Antony can say!
Okay, so you'll notice not only has the mood of the crowd swung from supporting Caesar to supporting Brutus, they're now actually fairly violently on Brutus's side. We better hear nothing bad about Brutus, Antony. Antony is in an awkward position. He is promised, and Romans don't break their promises, right? Right. He's promised not to say anything bad about the conspirators. Likewise, he better not, at least for now, because everyone is so firmly on Team Brutus that they're probably going to hurt him if he does. Here, plebeians, I'm going to scoot over because I just moved myself out of frame. All right. So Antony starts with, "You gentle Romans,
Peace ho! Let us hear him.
friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears." Wait a minute. First, let me lend you Brutus's intro. Antony starts out with, "Friends, Romans, countrymen." Brutus, on the other hand, started out with the same words in a different order. Brutus started out with Romans, countrymen, and lovers, so friends. Why? Why is it that Brutus would start out as he did, and Antony decided to do this? Consider as we read. "Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. The evil that men do lives after them. The good is often interred, buried, with their bones. So let it be with Caesar." So think about what that might mean. The good that men do is often buried with them. It's the evil that lives on after them. Think about it this way. How many of you, right off the bat, can remember something mean someone said to you? Something horrible, something cutting, something hurtful? Yeah, all of us. Exactly. Me too. How many of you can remember something stupid you did? Like that one time in second grade when you fill in the rest? Yeah, me too. How many of you, off the top of your head, can remember 5 compliments? Yeah, it's a lot harder. So, why is it that Antony might be saying, the good stuff you do often just gets buried with you? People remember the bad. That seems really counterintuitive. He's here to praise his friend, no matter what he says. What is he doing with these intro words? Consider. "The noble Brutus hath told you that Caesar was ambitious. If it were so, if that were true, it were a grievous fault." Meaning, if that were true, that would be a really, really, really bad thing, and grievously hath Caesar answered for it. Here, under leave of Brutus and the rest, for Brutus is an honorable man. So were they all honorable men. Come I to speak in Caesar's funeral. He was my friend, faithful and just to me. But Brutus says he was ambitious, and Brutus is an honorable man. He hath brought many captives home to Rome, whose ransoms did the general coffers fill. Did this in Caesar seem ambitious? Okay. So Brutus has started off in a really weird fashion. He started off by basically repeating over and over and over that Brutus and company are super honorable. Well, it's nice to see him keeping his promise, right? He did say he'd do that. But this doesn't seem to help him. Likewise, are you really going to tell me Cassius is honorable? No, of course not. So think, oh hey, Shadow in the background. Take a look at Shadow, people. Okay, well, you can see half of Shadow. Why is it that Antony is doing this? What is he accomplishing by emphasizing how honorable Brutus is? Okay, then he jumps into some rhetorical questions and some strange statements. He talks about Caesar's military victories. Caesar won a lot of stuff, he brought a lot of captives home, and when their countries ransomed them back, all that money went in to the general coffers, to the Bank of Rome, to support Rome, to finance Rome. Think back to the do now. Ambitious people, would they do that? Where would the money go if you were trying to further you? Would it go to Rome? Okay, so then why the rhetorical question here? And hold that thought, because we're on to another one. When that the poor have cried, Caesar hath wept. Ambition should be made of sterner stuff. Yet, Brutus says he was ambitious, and Brutus is an honorable man. Okay, so, remember, who did Caesar back? Who did Pompey not back? Why is it that the plebeians, wow, both cats, whole family. You guys want to read? Huh?
Shadow, ghost. Come here.
So, why is it that he would be bringing this up in front of the plebeians who have just totally flip-flopped and now are supporting Brutus, the honorable man? Seems odd. You all did see that on the Lupercal I thrice presented him a kingly crown, which he did thrice refuse. Was this ambitious? Yet Brutus says he was ambitious. And sure, he is an honorable man. I speak not to dispute what Brutus spoke, but here I am to speak what I do know. You all did love him once, not without cause. What cause withholds you then to mourn for him? Okay, he's basically just calling them fake. You all loved Caesar 20 minutes ago, and now you're all like, Brutus, Brutus, Brutus. Thank you, plebeian. O judgment, thou art fled to brutish beasts, and men have lost their reason. Bear with me. My heart is in the coffin there with Caesar, and I must pause until it come back to me. All right, so we haven't talked about the staging yet. Caesar's body is quite literally lying in front of everyone. Stab wounds and all. So, Antony, as he speaks, is speaking over Caesar's corpse to everyone. So at the end he says, hang on guys, hang on, like I gotta take a second. My heart is in the coffin with Caesar. I need to wait until it comes back to me. Like I'm having an emotional moment. Really? Is he really gonna start crying in front of half of Rome? How is that gonna help his cause? You should have an answer, and it's gonna go in your team's questions, because this is one of the things that Brutus doesn't do well, and Antony does very well. Hint, it's a rhetorical appeal. All right, plebeian, go ahead and feel sorry for me.
Methinks there is much reason in his saying. If thou consider rightly of the matter, Caesar has had great wrong. Has he, masters? I fear there will be worse come in his place. Mark you his words. He would not take the crown. Therefore it is certain he was not ambitious. If it be found so, some will dear abide it. Poor soul! His eyes are red as fire with weeping. There's not a nobler man in Rome than Antony. Now mark him, he begins again to speak.
Seriously? 2 pages ago, they were on Team Caesar. Then, they were on Team Brutus. And now, they're all about Antony. Why? Consider. Yes, Antony made some good logical points. You guys remember, right? You remember? In Act 1, Antony was like playing around and like fake presenting her a crown, like, you want the crown? And Caesar was like, no, I don't want the crown. So now he's bringing that back up to be like, if you were ambitious, you would of course want that crown. However, what is it that is really making people like Antony right now? Look at that poor soul. His eyes are red with fire from weeping. All right. But yesterday the word of Caesar might have stood against the world. Now lies he there, and none so poor to do him reverence. So, man, my best buddy, Caesar there, right there. Look at the body, it's right there. Yesterday, he was so powerful, and now he's dead. and full of stab wounds from these honorable men. O masters, if I were disposed to stir your hearts and minds to mutiny and to rage, I should do Brutus wrong and Cassius wrong, who you know are honorable men. I will not do them wrong. I rather choose to wrong the dead, to wrong myself and you, than that I will wrong such honorable men. Okay, yes, I'm hamming up the emphasis, but so is Antony. Why is it, like, he was actually very, very kind to Brutus in that first section, and now honorable men is starting to sound a little sarcastic. For irony. Likewise, he says that rather than wronging these quote-unquote honorable men like Cassius, wait a minute, he said Cassius was honorable? Who's gonna believe that? You should have an opinion about that in the questions, by the way. Why is it that he can get away with now throwing Cassius in as an honorable man? What is he doing with that? He says that he would rather wrong the dead, so wrong Caesar, wrong himself and wrong the rest of Rome than wrong such honorable people. What is his point? Because he's going to keep making it. Oh, but here's a parchment with the seal of Caesar. I found it in his closet, so like in his desk. 'Tis his will. What's a will? A will is usually a legal document that you leave after your death, saying who gets what. So, for example, if I croaked, I would leave most of my stuff to my husband and my cats. My loved ones. The cats control the finances, by the way, just so you know. But all of a sudden, Mark Antony just, whoosh, out of his toga, pulls Caesar's will. Weird. Okay, hold on to the will. Why is it that people tend to be interested in wills? Money. That's who says, or the will is what says who gets what out of that dead person's estate. Let but the commons hear this testament, which, pardon me, I did not mean to read, and they would go and kiss dead Caesar's wounds, and dip their napkins in his sacred blood, yea, beg a hair of him for memory, and dying, mention it within their wills, bequeathing it as a rich legacy unto their issue. Okay, so he's got the will. He's holding up the document, and he's like, oh, yep, will. Oh, but I don't actually mean to read it to you. I'm just like waving it at you. But you don't get to know what's in it. All right, plebeian.
Quick question, pun intended, because you're holding Shakespeare. Waving the will around. Well, hear the will! Read it, Mark Antony! The will! We'll hear Caesar's will! If you don't want puns, you shouldn't have invited me here.
If I didn't want puns, I wouldn't be reading Shakespeare. Sorry, guys. This is what I deal with. Antony, have patience, gentle friends. I must not read it. It is not meet, so it's not right, that you should know how much Caesar loved you. You are not wood, you are not stone, but only men, and being men, hearing the will of Caesar, it will inflame you. It will make you mad. 'Tis good that you should not know that you are his heirs, for if you should, oh, what would come of it? Okay, pausing, since I heard you take a breath, plebeian. So, we've still got the will. And he's like, oh, no, I'm not going to read it, because you guys, like, you've got hearts. If you knew that Caesar loved you so much that you're all in this, you're getting something, you'd be really excited. He just told them. What is he doing here? Likewise, why, since he basically just spilled the beans, is he still like, I'm not going to tell you? Oh, you want to read the will? This will? This will? What is he trying to do with this? Alright, plebeians, you're up.
Read the will. We'll hear it, Antony. You shall read us the will. Caesar's will.
Oh, will you be patient? Will you stay a while? I have overshot myself. Basically, I said too much. Whoops, my bad. I have overshot myself to tell you of it. I fear I wrong the honorable men, whose daggers have stabbed Caesar. I do fear it. Wait a minute. I thought, in fact I know, that Antony promised not to accuse the conspirators of stabbing Caesar. Not to talk about that. Why is it that he is now confident enough that he can just slide that in there? He isn't trying to incite them to mutiny, he said earlier. Right? He's clearly not trying to start a riot. Right? He would never do that, because Roman. Right? Right.
They were traitors, honorable men. The will, the testament. They were villains, murderers. The will, read the will.
Okay, so we've got fourth plebeian is throwing some minor shade here. He has picked up that honorable men might be sarcastic. How is it that Antony got that home to them? These plebeians, honestly, sorry, Mr. Leong, don't seem that smart. They've flip-flopped 3 times. Wow. So how is it that Antony has managed to get even into the densest plebeian's head that these quote-unquote honorable men, there are air quotes around that? Okay. Oh, you will compel me then to read the will? This will? Right here, that I've been waving at you for a page? Then make a ring about the corpse of Caesar, and let me show you him that made the will. Shall I descend? Will you give me leave?
Come down! Descend! You shall have leave.
Fourth plebeian.
Well, my version says Antony descends.
Oh, weird. They actually changed it. Okay. He's, so actually, this is my sister's copy from when she was your age. It's an old book. Apparently a line has shifted. Oops. I told you that happens sometimes. So Antony comes down. Let's look at this for a second. Why is it Antony has been up above Caesar's corpse? Now, what he wants, as he reads the will that he's been dangling in front of these people, he wants everyone to go and circle around Caesar's bloody, dead body as he reads what Caesar left them. This should play back into rhetorical appeals. What is he doing? All right, plebeian, continue.
A ring, stand around. Stand from the hearse, stand from the body. Room for Antony, most noble Antony!
Nay, press not so upon me, stand far off.
Stand back, room, bear back.
If you have tears, prepare to shed them now. You do know this mantle. So he's like pulling at Caesar's outfit, his toga. I remember the first time ever Caesar put it on. 'Twas on a summer evening, in his tent. That day that he overcame the Nervii. Okay, so this seems super random. Okay, so I'm going to bother your t-shirt here. So he's basically pulling on Caesar's outfit and going, oh, I remember. Man, I was there the first time he put this on. Oh, yeah. Remember? It was over in Spain when we were fighting the Nervii. Those guys who, like, wanted to invade Rome and murder us all. Yeah, the ones that he defeated for you. Why is he doing this? Yes, there's the guilt trip of look what Caesar did for you. He defeated the Nervii. But why else is he talking about, like, man, I have all these memories with Caesar. I remember that toga. This again should go into a rhetorical appeal. Look, in this place ran Cassius's dagger through. See what a rent the envious Casca made. Through this the well-beloved Brutus stabbed. And as he plucked his cursed steel away, mark how the blood of Caesar followed it, as rushing out of doors to be resolved, if Brutus so unkindly knocked or no, for Brutus, as you know, was Caesar's angel. Alright, so that's weird too. Not only is he calling everyone's attention to the toga, he's pointing at it and being like, see this hole? That was Cassius's doing. How about this hole? That was Casca. This, that was Brutus. He's naming all of the conspirators and pointing very deliberately. He did this, he did that. This is his fault. Why? Because as we know, Antony absolutely doesn't want to start a riot. Right? Right. It would help if my book were right side up.
Welcome to the plebes.
If I could see. Judge, O you gods, how dearly Caesar loved him. This was the most unkindest cut of all. For when the noble Caesar saw him stab, ingratitude, more strong than traitor's arms, quite vanquished him. Then burst his mighty heart, and, in his mantle muffling up his face, even at the base of Pompey's statue, which all the while ran blood, great Caesar fell. Oh, what a fall was there, my countrymen! Then I, and you, and all of us fell down, whilst bloody treason flourished over us. Wow, like laying it on a little thick there, buddy. But let's look back at this. Antony says Brutus was Caesar's angel. Oh, not really. But with that said, why is it that he's going so hard after Brutus? He just pointed out a whole bunch of people stabbed Caesar. Why is it that Antony is so deliberately saying that Brutus's stab was the worst treason, the most unkind? What's his point? Oh, now you weep, and I perceive you feel the dint of pity. These are glorious drops, kind souls. What weep you when you but beheld our Caesar's vesture wounded? Look on you here. Here is himself, marred as you see, with traitors. Okay, so before he was just pulling on Caesar's toga, and he's like, you guys are crying just at the toga? Like you're looking at these little holes in a piece of fabric and you're upset. Look at the body. You should be distraught. All right, plebeians, how do you feel?
A piteous spectacle. Oh, noble Caesar! Oh, woeful day! O traitors, villains! O most bloody sight! We will be revenged! Revenged, about, seek, burn, fire, kill, slay! Let not a traitor live!
Well, gosh. Antony's plan to not start a riot is going really well. How did Antony do this? We know that he did want a riot. How is it that he pushed everyone towards it? But now he's got what he wants, right? We're going to go out and burn everything. Stay, countrymen.
Peace there, hear the noble Antony. We'll hear him! We'll hear, follow him! We'll die with him!
Wow, they went from threatening him to we'll die with him. Plebeians, man. Plebeians. Good friends, sweet friends, let me not stir you up through a sudden flood of mutiny. They that have done this are honorable. What private griefs they have, alas, I know not, that made them do it. They are wise, honorable. Really now? Okay, so Antony has officially gotten exactly what he wanted. He has won. He has managed to convince everyone that Caesar was innocent. He has exposed the traitors. He has named the traitors publicly. Everyone is ready to riot. They are on his side. And he pulls them back? Why? How is this actually really smart? He's saying, I definitely don't want you to riot. Oh gosh, that would be like super terrible if you did that. Wow, these are super honorable men. I don't know what personal problems they might have had with Caesar, and it would be like super bad if I like got you guys all riled up. How is this so effective? They are wise and honorable, and will no doubt with reason answer you. I come not, friends, to steal away your hearts. I am no orator, as Brutus is, so I'm not really good at talking like Brutus is. Really? Lies. Lies, lies, lies. However, why is it that Antony is saying this? By the way, Cassius said something very similar. You should have an answer for this, because we talked about this in class. What does it do when someone is like, no, don't worry. Like, I actually don't, I'm not that great at talking and persuading people. How is that effective? But, as you all know me, a plain, blunt man that loved my friend, and they that knew full well, hang on, they gave me public leave to speak of him. For I have neither writ nor words nor worth, action, nor utterance, nor power of speech to stir men's blood. I only speak right on. Okay, again, lies. He is manipulating them right and left. Why is it then that he says, oh, I just don't have the skills to manipulate people like that? All I can do is tell you what I know. How is that really effective? This should go with your last answer. I tell you that which yourselves do know. I show you sweet Caesar's wounds, poor dumb mouths, and I bid them speak for me. But were I Brutus, and Brutus Antony, then there were an Antony who would ruffle up your spirits and put tongues in every wound of Caesar that would move the stones of Rome to rise and mutiny. What? Okay, so if I were Brutus and Brutus were me, then Brutus Antony would have really messed with your feelings. So whatever you're feeling now, it would be ramped up 4,000%. A, that's not true. B, why would he say that? I've hit the same point 3 times here. All right, plebeians, what do you say?
Well, mutiny will burn the house of Brutus. Away then, come, seek the conspirators.
Yet hear me, countrymen, yet hear me speak.
Peace, ho! Hear Antony, most noble Antony.
Why, friends, you go to do you know not what. Wherein Caesar hath deserved your love? Alas, you know not, I must tell you then. You have forgot the will I told you of.
Most true, the will. Stay and hear the will.
Okay, so I am now completely confused. What is Antony doing? He's won. For some reason, they're now even more enthused about burning Rome down. But then Antony is like, the will? You forgot the will? Want to come back and hear the will? Why is he doing this? Why not just let them go run amok for a while? Why keep dragging them back? Here is the will, and under Caesar's seal, to every Roman citizen he gives, to each several man, 75 drachmas. So, hey, literally every Roman male, you're getting money. Money! Like good money! How do we feel?
Most noble Caesar will revenge his death! O royal Caesar!
Oh, hear me with patience.
Peace, ho!
Moreover, I'm not done. Yes, you got your cash, but moreover, he hath left you all of his walks, his private arbors, and his new planted orchards. On this side of the Tiber he hath left them for you, and to your heirs forever. Common pleasures to walk about and recreate yourselves. So not only did he leave you guys a lot of money, he donated half of his estate, everything on this side of the Tiber River just to be public property. He loved you guys so much, he wanted you to have nice places to take your families on picnics. Here was a Caesar. When comes such another?
Never, never. Come away. Away. We'll burn his body in the holy place, and with the brands of fire, the traitors' houses, take up the body. Go! Fetch fire! Pluck down benches. Pluck down forms, windows, anything.
Exit the plebeians with the body. Okay, so this is officially a riot now. They are going to go cremate Caesar's body. They are going to light torches from the fire that cremates him and use it to burn everything associated with the traitors. But on the way, pluck down benches to like rip up public furniture, pluck down forms, windows, anything, like rip up the rest of Rome to make this a really big bonfire. This sounds destructive. Then Antony watches them all go, basically buffing his nails, and says, "Now let it work. Mischief, thou art afoot. Take thou what course thou wilt." Psh, whatever. This is weird. Antony is also a Roman. Why is it? I mean, Brutus put everything on the line for Rome. Antony, very deliberately, set up a riot so that Rome would burn. Why? You should be able to tell me something about Antony's very good and the flip side, his very, very bad trait based on this funeral oration. All right, enter servant. How now, fellow?
Oh, I'm playing servants too.
It's still a plebeian.
I wouldn't count it. Okay, fine. Sir, Octavius has already come to Rome.
Oh, wait a minute. Who's Octavius again? Oh, right! Caesar's heir, his adopted son. Okay. Where is he?
He and Lepidus are at Caesar's house.
So you might remember, you might not, because the dude is eminently forgettable. Lepidus is going to be the third member of the triumvirate. He's useless. And thither will I straight to visit him. He comes upon a wish. Fortune is merry, and in this mood will give us anything.
I heard him say, Brutus and Cassius are rid, like madmen through the gates of Rome.
But like they had some notice of the people and how I moved them. Bring me to Octavius. Exit. Okay. Antony's won. Rome is on fire. Everyone supports him. Octavius has made it safely into Rome. And Brutus and Cassius have had to peace out, along with all of the other conspirators. This could not have gone better. And yet, I don't know if Antony's a good guy. Oh. All right. Big thank you to the plebeians and their amazing voices. See, I put everyone on the spot. Just saying. All right, jump cut to the outro. So, the funeral's over. Antony's won. Octavian, who will be the next Caesar, basically, is in town and safe, which dodged a bullet there. Brutus and the conspirators are gone. A civil war has started, and Rome is quite literally on fire because of the riot. It's been an eventful couple of pages. So, you should spend the bulk of your time in the team's questions, answering the prompts about rhetorical devices and how both Brutus and Antony achieve their goals. Let's see what else. Oh, I'm going to start trying to hold office hours. I'm going to do a trial run this week on Thursday, because Thursday the 23rd is Shakespeare's birthday. That just seemed appropriate. So I'm going to try to be on between 1 and 1:30 on Teams. If you log on, you won't be able to broadcast video, but you will be able to use your microphone if you have one to talk. If you don't have a microphone, you can send text, and I will just be there in real time to answer your questions. And I think that is pretty much... Oh, one more thing. Just kidding. One more thing. I'm going to start marking in Teams, or in Hack rather, whether or not you have turned in your assignments. This will not affect your grade for now. We'll see in the future. But this will be a way for your parents to check and see what you're doing, what you're not doing. Likewise, remember, if you do not turn something in, I can't potentially give you replacement credit for anything else for it. It behooves you to do things. So, make sure that happens. You have 1 week from when I post this. I'm going to be posting this on Monday the 20th. You will have until Monday the 27th at midnight to finish and submit this. Remember, submit this via Teams. Do not email this to me. That's it. I hope you have a productive week. I hope that quarantine is treating you well. Again, be healthy, be safe. The real world is still out there. This will pass. Have a great week, people.